Oh, okay. Whoops. And everything jumped, and now we're back. Okay. Yeah, like yeah, it might have been a YouTube thing. There were a lot of things going on. Okay. Well, let me catch up with this. That was a very strange. That's never happened before. A lot of weird things have happened on this in terms of technical difficulties, but that was a new one. Talk about picks. Uh, Groundhog chewing on the wire sounds like a good tune name. I have to write that one. Uh, okay, yeah, I'm back in. Cool. Glad you're enjoying. I'm glad you got a teacher gal and that you got off to a good start with my website. Okay, let's see. What was I gonna do? I was gonna play a little bit of my tune, um, "On Common Ground." I wrote this tune a lot of years ago now. Somebody asked me recently how long ago it was. I'm guessing it must have been like 2011 that I wrote this, so almost 8 years. Sounds like this. There it is. A little bit of my tune "On Common Ground," written for the Common Ground Fair. It happens every summer, of kind of farming and agricultural simple living fair in Maine. Thousands of people come to every year. It's always a good time. Yeah, now that tune, there's a lesson for it on my website. It's on my album with my band Velocipede, which is a fiddle player and myself, which is available through the store on my MandoLessons website for download. Yeah, so thanks for the request. I love playing that tune. Let's see if I can catch up with some of the stuff that's going on in the chat. Request for Lazy John. I could do a little bit of that. Oh, that's a good question. Jim says, uh, I have an electronic Fender tuner. So should it be set to V for violin? I don't know exactly how your particular one works. If it looks like violin, yeah. Often they'll also just have like a manual setting that'll just show you the note. Um, But that said, if it doesn't, then V, it's the same tuning as a violin, so that would probably work. But I can't say for sure without seeing your particular tuner. Do I know any O'Carolan tunes? Not as many as I'd like. I only really know Shebeg Shamor, and I can follow a couple others that get played at my local Irish session, but not as many. I have taught on Common Ground. Mr. Cough Drop had that question. Yep, it's on my website. I think. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's in there. Actually, maybe it's not. Okay, you do see it. Great. I'm really not always sure what is. Any choros? No, choros. I wish I knew more of that music, but unfortunately I don't. Play a little bit of Lazy John. This is a tune that's on my website, a great old time tune. Well, that's not Lazy John. That's a tune that my friend Bennett Knesney wrote called Old Black Dog. But I will play Lazy John. Going to a dance on Saturday night, home by the morning light. Gonna bring my baby back home. Why don't you get away, Lazy John? Lazy John, Lazy John. You get your day's work all done. You're in the shade and I'm in the sun. Why don't you get away, Lazy John? Whoa. Finger slip. There it is, a little bit of Lazy John, short little abbreviated version. Have Dog Will Travel says, how do you mute all the strings like you do? I can't make them all mute. Any help? Yeah, so there's a bunch of different ways to actually get that muted sound. One is kind of with the classic bluegrass chop, where you kind of have all four strings covered. You just release the pressure out of your fingers. And a great practice for that is to just let them all ring. Play ring, stop, ring, stop. Nice and slow. And then speed that up. And it becomes that nice pop of the bluegrass chop. Another thing, if you have an open chord, like this A chord, you can mute the other strings with like these three fingers. So I'm just kind of laying my fingers lightly across all the strings. And another thing you can do is mute with your right hand. I'm kind of using this part of my palm to kind of flatten out on the strings. So if I'm playing a chord, or sometimes I'll use like kind of this palm part of my thumb. Or you can do kind of combinations of everything. Kind of get some funky stuff, a lot of stuff that Sam Bush does. Uses a lot of that kind of multiple muting methods. Brabant50, again, apologize that I'm probably mispronouncing your screen name every time, says, I hear the E string being struck a lot as you play. That's a great thing to notice. So in the key of A, there's a couple really safe drone in any key. There's a couple kind of, well, in a lot of the common keys on the mandolin for fiddle tunes, there's a couple drone notes that you can hit that are kind of always going to sound good in the key of A. So, if you're playing an A scale, those kind of nice safe strings to hit as double stops or kind of drone notes are the A string and the E string. So you're hearing that E string a lot kind of ring out. In the key of D, same idea, but your safe strings are D and A. And then in the key of G, they're G and D. Quick little Bray-Ban. Cool. That's a good way to remember that. So that's kind of a short little mandolin hack to know what open strings you're allowed to play. You can also just use your ears, and if a string rings open and sounds good, go for it. All right, well, we're getting towards the end of the hour. Kind of went fast because of some of those technical difficulties, but let's get ready to play some Old French, which is the tune for this week. It's a great French Canadian tune in the key of D. One of my favorite contradance tunes of all time. It's got a great energy to it. And so yeah, get your mandolin out and tuned up. I'll answer a couple of these questions while before we get in, so everybody's nice and ready, and then we'll jump into some of that for this week's tune play along. Just been watching a video of Norwegian woman playing an 8-stringed violin, 4 double notes like a mandolin. Pretty cool. I wonder if that could be. I haven't seen that sort of instrument, but there are instruments called hardanger fiddles. That's a Norwegian instrument that actually has 4 strings up top and then 4 or 5 underneath that actually you don't play them, but they kind of ring out. They're like sympathetic vibration strings, so they just kind of create this big sound, ringing sound from the instrument. Those are very cool, but maybe there are double string fiddles like there are mandolins. That's cool. A lesson on Bonaparte's Retreat. That's on my list. And we should definitely I should definitely make a lesson for that one at some point. Thank you for the request. Oh, was it Kitchen Girl? Oh, great. Kitchen Girl. Awesome. Kitchen Girl it is. Old French was last week. Great. I think somebody mentioned Old French and that wiped this one from this week. Great. I'll take your all word from it for it because my memory is pretty terrible. As you can probably tell if you've been here before, I can, no matter how hard I try, remember what the week's tune is. So, Kitchen Girl, a great old-time tune in the key of A. Not to be confused with Old French. Great old-time tune. Also a great contradance tune. Nice and bouncy. Let's jump into it. Asif says, "What is the best mandolin for beginners?" I've got a lesson, I've got a page on my website under the About Mandolins. Talks about my suggestions for finding mandolins. It's kind of a longer conversation, but check out my website, MandoLessons.com, and I've got a page about my suggestions. All right, so Kitchen Girl, here we go. So the way this works is I'll play the melody, you can play the chords. Then we'll swap, so I play the chords and you play the melody. If you're just getting used to this tune, it's a great way to just kind of have somebody to play along with. Pick out some, if you've never heard the tune before, see if you can just pick out some of the notes on the fly. See if you can end a couple times through with kind of knowing a little bit more about the tune than you did when we started. If this is a tune you've known forever, see if you can add some double stops or improvisation, harmony lines, things like that. Have fun with it. So here we go. I'll play it not too fast. If it is too fast for you, you can always come back and slow it down later by clicking the little gear in the bottom right-hand corner. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can play chords. You take the melody, I'll play chords. A2. B. B2. You play chords, I'll play melody. B. You take the melody. A2. B1. Let's both play the melody together. Here we go. B. Alrighty, there it is, Kitchen Girl. Great old time tune. It's on my website if you haven't learned it already. There's a learn to play it. There's a lesson where you can learn to play it by ear. No sheet music required. There's also sheet music if that's something you're in need of. There's mandolin tablature and standard notation. There's also play along tracks, so you can play along with me kind of like that. Alright, well that about wraps up this week. So I gotta run off to an engagement down in town. But what should we do next week? Did we talk about that next week? Last week? I feel like it was either last week or 2 weeks ago we thought about 2 tunes into the future. But if people have requests or can remind me what this upcoming week's play along tune should be, we can decide that now. So yeah, it's probably something usually that's like on my website and pretty straight ahead, and something that people will run into out in the wild and nothing too obscure. Cool, awesome. Arkansas Traveler, that's a good idea. Glad people are enjoying it. Thanks for joining, fiddling with my whistle. Great to have you. I hope to see you again. 174 by O'Carolyn. That's not on my website, and I don't know that one. But I'll try to check it out. Arkansas Traveler, that's a great tune. Let's do that one next week, if it hasn't been done already. Oh, Liberty. Were we gonna do Liberty last time, Denise, or was that? Was that a request, or was that you were trying to remind me that I had talked about something? I feel like in my head, we had decided to and into the future. Well, in any case, it'll either be Arkansas Traveler or Liberty. Um, Wait, okay, just a request. Let's do Arkansas Traveler this week and Liberty the following week. Those are both great tunes. They're both on my website. They're both great classic old time tunes that a lot of people will know. And yeah, have a great weekend. Great to have you all here. Thanks so much for the super chat donations and other donations. Always appreciate it. Have a great weekend. See you next time. Bye bye. Yeah, Arkansas Traveler in the key of D. Yes. On my website if you need to learn it. Have a good one. Bye bye.